Hi friends, welcome to the daily answer writing challenge where we discuss one PYQ. We try to learn the structure of the answer and how we can score very high marks in the UPSC mains examination. So today's question is from General Studies 1 PYQ Society section. Distinguish between gender equality, gender equity and women empowerment. Why it is important to take gender concerns into account while designing policy and policy implementation. So guys, you can see here that there are two parts of the question. First part is about difference between gender equality, gender equity and women empowerment, and the second part, it says that why it is important to take into consideration gender concerns while policy design and implementation. So what we will do in the introduction, we will try to define what is gender. Why? Because if you see here, the focus is on the meaning of these terms: gender equality, gender equity, women empowerment. So best is to start with the definition of gender. So gender is a socio-economic cultural term about the roles associated with men and women. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll try to link these three terms: gender equality, gender equity and women empowerment, to sustainable and inclusive development. Okay, but we will say that there is fine difference between these three terms. Then what we will do is that we will give a heading: gender equality versus gender equity versus women empowerment, and we will give this table format. We'll use this table format whenever difference is asked. Whenever difference is asked, okay, distinguish, always use table format because it is easy for the examiner to correct. Okay, so gender equality basically is what? It is about equal access to resources, equal access to opportunities. What is gender equity? Gender equity is about fair treatment. Okay, because of the historical injustice, okay, women need fairness. Okay, so here the word is fairness. And women empowerment is what? Increasing the choices, increasing the autonomy. That is what is women empowerment. Choices, autonomy, freedom, that is what is called women empowerment. So key terms will help you to differentiate between these three terms. Then you give examples. For example, when we give women education, okay, girl education, when we give equal pay for work for women, it is called what? Gender equality. On the other hand, when we give reservations to women, whether it is in panchayats, whether it is in parliament, it is called what? It is called gender equity. And for example, self-help group, it is what? It is an example of women empowerment. So I have given examples also. I have given the difference and I have given examples also. Then you give the second part of the question: why gender mainstreaming in policy is important, or why it is important to take gender concern. It is important because there is systemic inequality between male and women. Okay, since male and female, okay, there is systemic inequality in the society. Therefore, it is important to take specially the gender concern while implementing any policy. And second is, the role of men and women in the society is different. As the role of men and women is different, so we need different approaches for the policy related to men and women. Okay, and last but not the least, why do we need to mainstream gender in our policy design is that the women are not equally represented, they are underrepresented in decision making. Since they are underrepresented in decision making, so we need special focus on women and gender issues in policy formulation. In the end, what you can conclude, that gender mainstreaming is important to achieve gender equality, gender equity and women empowerment. And without gender equality, gender equity and women empowerment, we will not be able to achieve sustainable development goals. Always link the answer to a larger point: sustainable development goals.